There was a time, not even that long ago, when families had anchors, matriarchs who stood like stone, unshakable, dignified, rooted in purpose. They were not couch surfing nomads, floating from house to house, cackling like hyenas, stirring up the gossip pot for entertainment. They weren't grown adults, some even elderly, moving through life like emotional toddlers, unable to keep a roof over their heads, managing their bills, or carry the responsibilities they expect everyone else to shoulder for them. And the men were not stumbling through life in bonnets, emotionally fragile, spiritually lost, and acting bitch-made. They were masculine, and it wasn't ornamental. It had a backbone, duty, and presence. Back then, respect wasn't demanded, it was earned. Elders held their place because they carried themselves with self-respect and poured that into their homes. Now, too often, we find instead families are made up of individuals scavenging for gossip, chaos, acting like they'll starve if they don't feed off of each other's downfalls. A clan not powered by love, not by unity, but for survival of the pettiest. Today, I just simply want to call judgment, not out of cruelty, but out of truth, because the spiritual bill has come due, and the chickens are coming home to roost. And whether people are ready to acknowledge it or not, the unraveling we're witnessing in families is not random. It's energetic, and it's deeply tied to the patriarchy's long project destroying reverence of the divine feminine. Let's talk about it. For generations, the patriarchy taught men that dominance was masculinity, that emotional intelligence was weakness, connection, softness, intuition, and nurture were beneath them. And many men swallowed that poison whole until eventually masculinity no longer resembled strength. It became either aggression or fragility, nothing in between. If you look at the new Netflix special, The Reckoning, that's exactly what I'm talking about. On the other side, the patriarchy taught women to shrink, to be silent, to give until they burned out, to sacrifice themselves until they had nothing left, including their own identities. And when society refused to honor the divine feminine intuition, compassion, balance, and healing, what you get were households where chaos became the unofficial family language. You get matriarchs who never learned rest or boundaries, so they age into elders who are emotionally stunted, unable to support themselves, but still demanding the respect that healthy elders once earned. You get grown adults who move through life with toddler-like coping skills because no one ever taught them otherwise. People who think age alone equivocates wisdom, even when their behavior proves the exact opposite. And the patriarchy did that. It split the feminine in half. It turned women into mules and men into the caricatures of their own potential. It told women to hold the home, the finances, the emotions, the church, the children, the spiritual life, everything, while simultaneously stripping them of praise, reverence, and power. And then people wonder why the family unit decayed. When you remove the divine feminine from the center of the community, everything collapses. Because the divine feminine energy is not woman only, it's balance, it's intuition, it's generational wisdom, it's emotional literacy. It's the ability to hold space without controlling it. It's the grounding force that keeps families from cutting each other down like enemies at war. When feminine energy is dismissed, families become cold, disconnected, and competitive. When masculine energy is distorted, families become chaotic, undisciplined, and directionless. When both are wounded, you get exactly what you're seeing right now. Whole bloodlines in a spiritual freefall, acting like rival tribes instead of people meant to protect each other. Some people are aging chronologically, but regressing spiritually. Old in body, toddler in their damn temperaments. They're not running households, they're running from accountability. They're not guiding the next generation. They're gossiping about them. They're not embodying ancestral wisdom. They're repeating their old wounds like a script they never learned how to rewrite. And what do you expect when the divine feminine has been disregarded for so long? When intuition is mocked, when emotional intelligence is dismissed, when caretaking is seen as servitude rather than a sacred work, you get what we have today. Families where people are too spiritually malnourished to hold a household, let alone hold each other. What we're witnessing in families right now is the direct result of generations of imbalance, generations of people who worship the appearance of strength instead of cultivating actual strength. People who believe keeping secrets was the same thing as keeping stability. People who confused fear with respect. And now, the veil is off. Nobody respects elders who don't respect themselves or their kids. Nobody follows leaders who can't lead themselves. Nobody listens to adults acting like children, and no family thrives when everyone within it is too wounded to love each other properly. It's the reckoning where every generation must face the truth. You cannot build a legacy on gossip, dysfunction, abuse, resentment. You can't rise while clinging to the petty. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. You absolutely cannot restore the family without restoring the divine feminine. We are entering an era where spiritual balance is non-negotiable. The masculine must be healed, not inflated into an ego or deflated into helplessness, but strengthened with purpose, accountability, and emotional clarity. The feminine must be honored, not overworked, minimized, but respected as the pulse of generational health. Because the future will not be built by the childish, the chaotic, the gossip-fueled, or the spiritually asleep.